tomorrow there is another pay-per-view in France, and I know they already been touring. I think they were in Italy, right, doing some house shows and doing some stuff.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so they seem to be, some people seem to be having way too much fun. But there are tomorrow definitely there's gonna be like this finally are cementing the new storylines for the couple next weeks and then a couple of next pay-per-views. So I know you were mentioned about Cody, and now we're the new bloodline, you know, that we're gonna get to see them tomorrow in action instead of just, you know, with segments. So we're going to see what all this buzz is all about. There's been some other rumors of people that are going to be doing debuts in the next couple weeks or probably tomorrow too. So we've been talking about this and we're very excited. Some of us, Denise, uh, we're waiting for him to come out, and because we know him for a long time from California. So if it's true, I'm going to be extremely happy, not only because, you know, he is doing a pay-per-view, but also because he's finally is achieving his dream, and I'm all about my friends achieving their dreams. So I'm very, very excited about that.
There's a lot to sort of like be excited about, but yes, you're right here. We don't really know exactly what is going to happen with the bloodline story. Everybody has speculations of what they think may be going down, but for sure, I'm expecting something pretty big. I would expect for at Backlash, because here's the thing: like just within itself, the tag team match, it's going to be good. One, because first of all, things have really heated up with Kevin Owens in there, especially between Kevin Owens and Tama Tonga specifically. They have been just like going at it like the last couple of weeks, and Kevin Owens is going to want some revenge over some of these beatdowns that have been going on. So I'm excited to see how this tag team match is going to play out, and I think it's going to be pretty fun. And of course, like you mentioned, I think a lot of us are still waiting. Still waiting. When are we going to see Jacob Fatu? Is it going to happen this weekend? I don't know. But when it happens, Thunder, just know that we're all going to be really excited about it.
And if it happens, I hope he is barefoot. Like I really do, but I know that they don't do that. So that's Jacob Fatu for y'all. Like he's crazy. Like for those who don't know who Jacob Fatu is, you guys are in for a treat. Even if he does a quarter of what he does in the independent scene, he's just so violent. He's so like oh man, like he's just so full of energy, and like he's so good at what he does. So I'm very excited to see what he's gonna do, and if they're gonna give him a microphone, if he's gonna be able to talk, or he's just gonna be a heater, you know, or a hammer. I'm just very curious to see how they're gonna develop him as a new character. So and to see also how this bloodline it's, you know, turning to be now, because I feel like the main characters are moving into their own storylines, and you know, they have, you have the Usos doing something else. Then you have like this guys, the cousins, they separated and they're getting other cousins. So it's how they're gonna continue to make this something that people still interested in, because I mean, we haven't had the main players in here. We haven't had The Rock, and we haven't had, you know, our tribal chief. So I don't know how else or what other turns are gonna take, and who else are they gonna terrify too. And I think having Kevin Owens and Randy Orton here, because they both are kind of like baby faces, but they're not your typical baby faces. They're fiery, like in your face kind of guys. It makes it easier for them to have a real fight. But once they move on from there, it's like, where else are they gonna go? Who else are they gonna start? Like it has, because they have to have a baby face for them to terrorize and even be more of like a heel stable, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when you mentioned Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, by the way, for me, for me, I think they're so freaking funny together, because they're just like, they have such a long history, but at the same time, like just them, and they both have this comedic vibe to them, even though like you take them seriously, obviously, because they're serious guys, but at the same time when they come together, they're sort of funny together, so they can pull both sides of it. So for me, I love seeing anytime we get to see Randy and Kevin Owens interact, so I'm looking forward to that. But speaking of tag teams and interactions, here's another big one on the tag team side of things. For the women, we have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship on the line. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, defending their titles against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Thunder, there's got to be a title change in this, right? Like, given how strong they have been booking Jade Cargill, specifically since she has debuted in WWE, and clearly they want to make Jade and Bianca into the next big duo, I can't imagine that they're not winning the tag team titles here.
I was just going to say, it smells like title change. Hi, Denise. I have so much to say about this, but I'm just gonna be like, finally, like the Kabuki Warriors get to defend their title, and then what? They defend it and then they lose it. Like, come on, guys. Like, okay, if Bianca and Jay are gonna get the titles, this is like a criticism that they have had for a long time, and that's one of the reasons when Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Moné, left WWE, was because this division, for her and for a lot of people, has been like the forgotten thing. It's just kind of like, okay, we're gonna give you a couple titles. Here, wear them. You might defend them here and there if we have time. But now, because Bianca and Jade has been so popular, it's like they have to put the titles on them. But then what? Like, what they're gonna do? Is Jade gonna be in the same situation that she was before, and where she was a champion and then she didn't really like defend it? So it's just like, you think just, is this good? Yeah, maybe, because she's gonna have another title, but then what? Like, what's the plan afterwards?
It's complicated, right? Because you bring up some good points, right? And there's certain champions, especially throughout history, this goes with all championships, right? There's champions that are only gonna hold down the belt for a little bit, or they're just going to be transitional champions. There are some that kind of hold it for a while, but then we don't see very many defenses, and that's a little bit of what we've been seeing play out with the Damage Control period. And I think that's what kind of sucks, that a lot of the champions in Damage Control, and I'm including Io Sky when she was champion, is that it's almost like, here, you have the belt, but we're also not really having you compete as often. Because that was my whole gripe, Thunder, with Io as champion, where I'm like, you have someone that is so freaking talented, someone that is a different type of female wrestler who can soar skies and do all these magnificent things, and she gets over with the crowd because the crowd thinks that she's freaking cool. I mean, how many times haven't we seen this girl jump off of a freaking top of the cage with a trash bin over her head? I mean, that's freaking cool. Yeah. And so she got over. She was very popular. I mean, when was it? Actually, wasn't it last year's last year's Backlash pay-per-view, where Io was getting cheered over Bianca Belair? And that's something that I remember really just being surprised by, considering how popular Bianca Belair was. But anyways, all that to say is that I think what's hurt Damage Control is that they're a freaking cool stable, right? And you're interested in them, and they're fun, and the story with Bayley was really cool. But we also know that they're not sort of presented as these type of champions that are going out each and every single week and successfully defending their championships, and that kind of sucks. But it's also with Bianca and Jade, the time is now. Like, there are certain people where you just know the time is now for them to be champions, and in this specific division, there's no way in hell Bianca and Jade should be losing right now. And they are, yes, I do think that I think they might be doing something similar with Jade that we saw over on AEW, because on AEW, we all know about her streak. We all know about her being a TBS champion for X amount of days. She's still, to this day, the longest reigning champion in AEW for any championship belt. And so I do think that the best way to present Jade is in that fashion, Thunder, where she's going out there, she's looking dominant because, again, because of her look, because of her aura, you want to present her in that kind of light. So, again, I think Bianca and Jade are definitely going to go in a direction where they win, and they actually, hopefully, they better defend the titles every week to be, a dominant champions. And I'm ready to see that, Thunder, especially in this division, because I feel like a lot of the previous champions, there was talks about these championships sort of being cursed, where people were getting injured, things were happening. And so it finally feels like Bianca and Jade could be that team that represent this division in a strong, dominant fashion.
I would totally agree with you, but I think it's very important if in case that this is going to switch to them, because how hot both of them are and how much people like them and like all this natural push that they're getting, that there's going to be some changes. And if they are, it's going to be good for everybody in the division, because now you have all these tag teams that have been building naturally that are getting over on social media and also on TV, that will have an opportunity to have either tournaments or one-on-ones or just like storylines just in general. So if they're going to do that, I really do hope there is character development and there is storylines for them too, just as much as has been for, for the guys with the bloodline and with all the other stuff that we've seen before, so this is just me advocating for women's wrestling, and it's so important that if we pay attention, because we have stars and we have people that are willing to really put in the work to make it work. And I think in both companies, we both have shown that we are ready for the challenge. And in this case, with Jade and Bianca, I think they are ready to take it to the next level. And Bianca being such a former champion, and also Jay being a former champion, I think it just be good for business.
We already went through 3 of the big matches that are taking place at Backlash, but let's go ahead and get into the other 3 that are gonna be for some really big championships. And will we see some title changes? I don't know. Let's kick things off, since we just finished talking about the women's tag team championships. Let's stay on the same wavelength. Let's continue on with some of the women's matches. And the other big one, the biggest one here, is for the WWE Women's Championship. We got Bayley defending her title against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. So this is one, Thunder, where of course Tiffany Stratton is like uber popular and everybody's wondering if she's going to win the championship. I'm gonna say not yet, because Bayley, she just won. I really do not want to see Bayley lose in her first title defense, even though I'm so ready for Tiffy time to be the champion. I love Tiffany Stratton, but I don't want to see Bayley lose her championship in the first title defense that we get here. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, Denise. You need to calm down with Tiffany Stratton.
I love Tiffany Stratton, though. She's so fun.
And if I see another dirt sheet comparison with Mariah May,
that's crazy.
Y'all need to stop that shit.
That was terrible, by the way. I don't know how that started, why it started, and now I like to make a running joke about it. So now every time. So for those who don't know, by the way, I'll just go ahead and shine the light. This was really dumb, but someone started something about how because Tiffany Stratton wears the color pink, that Mariah May, because she's also a blonde woman, cannot wear pink, which is very, very silly. By that logic, Thunder, you're blonde, you're wearing pink right now on the air. By that logic, you wouldn't be able to wear that shirt right now, which is really stupid. So, like, nobody listen to that. But now I like to make a running joke every time I see Tiffany Stratton wear a new color. I'm like, oh, well, I guess that color's out now too, as a joke, because no one's taking that seriously.
But yeah, stop with that. But going back to that, no, Bayley better not lose that title. Like, she just got it. They've been cooking this story for a couple weeks now. It makes sense. I love the fact that everybody's getting their little shine, right? You got your 2 baby faces, and you have Tiffy, who's like annoyingly that white chick that, oh my God. And it's just great to see it. Naomi, I love the fact that Naomi is getting a little bit of love, and she is in a storyline for a championship, and she gets to show off a little bit of her skills too, and it's working. Like, you have Bailey, who's friends with Naomi, who's like wants to be successful but still not want to give her the title, and then you have Tiffy, who just got into the main roster a couple months ago, and she's just like the Puerto Ricans will say, ha hecho un revolú. Like, she's like changed a lot of stuff, and she's so popular with the universe. So as you know, a lot of people want to see her champion, but it's not her time yet. Fight me. Fight
No,
me.
I agree with you. I agree with you too. It just doesn't feel like her time just yet. Whereas when we were talking about Bianca and Jade, it's almost like, no, like this is it. Like you do it because they are who they are and they're being pushed a certain way. And while Tiffany Stratton also has a lot of those same attributes, it's just not the time yet. I think there can still be a bigger story to tell leading up to her actually becoming champion. And I much rather see that flourish, and I want to see that play out on weekly television. And what I'm looking forward to at this specific match, you had mentioned Naomi, and Naomi is somebody who, she always, when she came back to WWE, I feel like they started seeing her maybe in a little bit of a different light, because I think she really went, when she was with TNA, I think she really proved that she is more than a 2-minute match. She's more than whatever it is that they saw her originally as. And so she came in, we all know the big moments that she had at the Rumble and all of that, the big moment at WrestleMania, but it's sort of been like she has sort of been almost sharing that spotlight with Bianca and Jade. She still hasn't really had that spotlight on her own since the Rumble. So I feel like in this particular matchup, I really want to see them really let Naomi show what kind of competitor she is. And we've been seeing that a lot more. I feel like they have been showing that a lot more from her. And so that's what I'm looking forward to in this match. I'm looking forward to seeing the sequences that these three girls come up with, because what they have here in these three girls is all of them can go. All of them bring something different, and all of them can go. And I'm a big fan, Thunder, of triple threat matches. They're some of my favorites.
Really?
I have a really good time watching it because I always feel like they get really creative with, again, a lot of the sequences that they do. And so I'm really looking forward to this match.
Well, that's interesting that you like three. They're very difficult to put together. I'm gonna tell you that. They're
Well,
very
I can imagine.
and this. I mean, there is a formula, but if you got the formula down, the matches can be absolutely amazing, and some of the sequences that you can do can be so much fun. And I'm pretty sure they are going to do so much fun. I mean, you have two high flyers, and you have Bailey, who's one of probably the best wrestlers in the roster for the women's division in WWE. So I just love her work, Bailey's work. I love her match in WrestleMania. That's like storytelling. Like, that she definitely does that very, very well. And for a champion to be able to do that, and to be able to like uh really empower and elevate her opponents, it's gonna be very interesting. But I know that Tiffy has a lot to prove, and Naomi also has a lot to prove. So this match is gonna be very, I hope, fingers crossed, it's gonna be fun.
How do you feel about triple threat matches?
Uh, Depends on who you're working with. I tell you, for me, just putting matches together for me, it's just like the process is it's hard. Like, I literally have to be in the ring, inside the ring, for my brain to start working. It's just crazy because it's like visualization. Like, I have some of the things that I do right, but then once I'm in the ring, I'm already looking. Okay, this corner, this corner, this corner. How many people are gonna be here? I can do this spot right here. She can, like, it's just like that. And when it's triple threats, I have to watch other people do certain things and see what I can do and what I can bring to the table. Then you have to sit. You're working with three other brains, and we don't all think the same. So we have to come into an agreement what we have to do. Then if there's like agents and there's other people and there's a storyline, it's like all this extra factors that you have to take in consideration before you put the match together. Once you take that in consideration, then you put the match together. And then if there's in this specific, I'm like, sorry, I'm pulling the curtain too much, but it's just a process. And then if there is in this specific finish that you have to hit, you have to make sure the whole entire match make sense to the finish that was, given to for this match. So it can be very challenging.
I love you explaining it though, because again, pulling back the curtain, I know some people don't like that. I personally do, because it's one of those things where I feel like you just learn more about the people that you're seeing on screen, and really all of the work and all of the magic, I guess, that goes into what you end up seeing, because we only see what we see on TV, right? And it looks like what it looks like, and you don't realize all of the behind the scenes and all of the thought process and all of everything that goes into play. And of course, as wrestling fans, we love to freaking break that down and talk about, well, why did this person do this? How did this make sense to the story? Psychology, we love to talk about that stuff. And that's a whole other beast. But I love hearing stuff like this, because hearing you talk about having to be in the ring, it's interesting, because I feel like everybody's a little bit different, right, with how they put matches together. And I don't know, I like that though. I really like that. I like knowing that you have to be in the ring.
So
At least for you.
I personally have
for you, yeah.
Yeah, but some of my peers, they already come with a notebook full of ideas. I don't work that way. I'm old school. Like sometimes I just want to be in the ring creating. I'm all about that's how I was taught. Like I remember being in the ring, I was 6 months in, and then my coaches were like, all right, guys, so we're not calling spots. You guys have to have a 10-minute match calling in the ring. And I was just like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, make it work. And we worked like that for a whole entire year, just in case if somebody got injured, just in case if like X, Y, and Z didn't work out and you have to change everything. You just have to be ready. Your mind has to be awake, ready to go, and to be able to like communicate with your partner right in the moment, which is, it could be very challenging. So that's why I get so used to being in the ring and be like, okay, we can do this, we can do that. Or if I see certain things, I was like, maybe I can modify it like this for my style. And it is just very interesting. But like I said, everybody works differently. I need to be in the ring. And once I'm in the ring, I start having like 50,000 things, and I can't put them in 8 minutes, because I have to make sure. There's another thing. You got to make sure you tell the story, you sell properly. And if you're working TV, that you have, your TV times, you hit your TV times. It's very complicated. People don't understand. Working independent, working pay-per-views, and working TV are three different things. And all of them come with a level of difficulty. And if you're not ready, it can be a fucking total disaster.
Damn, I get it. You want to know why? So obviously, I've never been in the ring. My most physical thing was when I got chopped by you. All right, that's the most physical thing I've ever done. But this actually took me back, because I used to be in dance in high school for 3 years. That was like my thing. And obviously, dancing is choreographed, so you have to plan and listen to the music and come up with the moves and come up with something original that all fits into the style of dance that you're doing. And Thunder, I remember, and this brought me back. So when I had to do my own choreography, like I would actually I would draw it like what is it, a pencil person? Oh wait, is it a pencil person?
Yes.
I forgot. Pencil person, yeah. I would draw my little pencil person and put the description of each and every single dance move that I was going to do in that song. And that's how I would rehearse it over and over and over, watching the actual drawings that I did. And then one time, and this is where you're right, Thunder, where things could be an utter disaster, because I was so used to that method. One time, our assignment in class was to come up with the choreography as a group. So not just me, but as a group. And then by the end of the class, we had to perform it. So guess what happened? I get out there, and Thunder, I forgot all the moves after like the first two. Yeah. I was just like completely lost, didn't know what I was doing, and I started making shit up. And obviously it's totally different with dance, because I'm not out there, actually holding or touching people, but still I messed everything up, and my whole entire group was really pissed off. So it's, it translates a little bit.
It happens. Like my first match in Japan was a 3-way or something like that. 3 minutes in, I forget absolutely everything, because I was 9 months in the business and I was having really difficult time memorizing everything. And I had to memorize, like literally even the moment I was going to breathe to yell at the people. I forgot everything. And I'm like with people don't speak English or Spanish. So I'm trying to like do things and do whatever. I don't remember. I just remember I was so freaking pissed. And my senpais were, they wanted to kill me. My 3 first matches were an absolute disaster. Until like, I remember there was one, she was a veteran, and she gave me a bunch of spots, and she told me specifically because they told her, this girl's too, if she's green, she don't remember stuff. Well, I forgot to sell. I got my ass beat and I got a concussion afterwards. Ever since then, I have not forgotten my spots because you never know. And that was the lesson. It was like, you have to memorize certain things because certain people work a certain way. And with other people, you can, freestyle. Not in Japan. I could not freestyle in Japan. That's just not. And I can tell you, that's why I love Io, because I used to train under Io. Io was one of those in where she could just get in the ring and do audibles with people. They were one of the very few women in Japan who used to do that kind of stuff. And I loved seeing her when she was a champion in Stardom back in the day to do some of that stuff, because you can see when she was like, it was already set, and then the ones that were audibles. So it was such a learning experience, such a learning curve. So if for those who love to criticize professional wrestlers, you don't understand the pressures and how difficult this can be, especially when we go to other countries and their psychology is completely different, such as Japan and Mexico. And then you call things and then they change everything in the ring, and you're just like,
That sounds terrifying.
It's insane. So it's not only that, and just imagine when you're working in front of 20,000 people, 30,000 people, 70,000 people, and then you still have to look at cameras, making sure that you are doing this, that you're doing that, if you're sick, like your kid is in the back, he or she has fever, like all these things, and you still have to perform in the biggest arenas and make sure you do your best. It's not easy. It's absolutely not easy.